Church, high five 3 people before you have a seat. So glad you're here. So glad you're at Bonney Lake. So glad you're downtown. Yeah. Man, the joint is jumping all over Motion Church. Just drove. Where is Matt? Is Matt Robinson here? He's not here? Where'd he go? Would you just tell him to stop praying for me? Yep, because I had to follow a cop all the way here from Bonney Lake. That doggone guy is praying for me to drive safe, and I don't like those prayers. So, you raised a good boy, Mama. Doggone that praying guy. God answer his prayers. Well, my name is Roger. I'm the pastor of the church. How the heck you doing? Hey, from the South Hill, my peeps, can we send some love to downtown and Bonney Lake and online campuses? Come on. We're so glad you are dialed in with us tonight. I know that Pastor Dave Nairn, Pastor Dave downtown, and Brittany Bonney Lake, can you campus pastors just stand up and just turn and take a bow? Can we just applaud our campus pastors? Sean McCartan, stand up, please. Take a bow. Love our campus pastors. And my mommy is watching from Idaho. Love you, Mommy. Your baby boy's doing good. All those prayers. Mommy, you can keep praying for me because you want me to go fast. Okay. So I went to the endodontist this week. Has anybody ever had a root canal? You know how to pray. Those are all praying people that raise their hand. Well, I met a new guy, and he is such a cool dude. And, you know, for those of you that don't know, by the way, if this is your first, second, or third time, would you give me a little wave so we can welcome you proper? Come on, would you welcome first, second, third timers? We have a little candy bar for you. Yeah, you didn't want to raise your hand now. Now you're raising your hand back there in the back, candy people. Okay, there you go in Bonney Lake and South Hill and downtown, candy lovers. You're going to need to go see the endodontist too, probably, if you keep that up. Anywho, I went to go see the endodontist. And for those of you that don't know, been battling cancer since August, had a pretty radical surgery that removed the cancer. The cancer's come back. So now I'm undergoing radiation. So that's a real fun thing to get to do for an hour a day for 8 weeks straight, every day of the week. But keep praying for your pastor, because how many know that God heals and God has power and God is able? But it's put me on this wonderful level playing field with all these other people that have cancer issues. So I'm there in the endodontist chair, terrified. I have the death grip on the arm because he takes out the big harpoon for killing whales in the Adriatic. He takes 2 hands to get it up off of his thigh. And then he's about to jam it in my mouth, and he starts a conversation. Don't do that if you're an endodontist. Love your people. So he says, so glad to have you. And then, don't you know, the little girl who's the assistant, she comes bopping in. I get to work on my pastor today. So if I swear out loud, will you think less of me? No, I didn't think. I thought it, but I didn't say it. And so she said, this is the one that I was telling you about. So the guy goes, oh, man, you've been going through a battle. I said, yeah, I've been going through a battle. He goes, so what is your battle? She didn't tell me. I said, oh, I'm battling cancer. The guy goes, no way. I go, way. And he says, you know, I live part-time in Utah and part-time in Furcrest. For those of you that are watching online, Furcrest is a pretty uppity neighborhood over in the Tacoma side. Lots of money over there, Furcrest. Anywho, have I said that twice? I need to get off that word. Anywho, so he says, this is my second marriage, my wife's second marriage. We have 3 kids each, brought them together like the Brady Bunch. There's 6 of us. We've been married now for 4 years, and we just found out she has leukemia. I said, put that harpoon down, take my hand. He says, huh? Yeah, grab my hand. I'm praying for your wife right now. And I just went after it. God, in Jesus' name. And there's other people in other chairs. I don't care. Because once you have cancer, it's just like, you know, let's pray hard, right? So we're praying hard for his wife, Susie. And so I was just praying hard, da, da, da. And I look up, and he's just mucus and saline. The dude's like losing it. He's weeping. He says, would you mind if I called my wife, and can we do this all over again? No, get her on the phone. So I spent the next 3.5 hours there in his chair, because I guess my mouth was really messed up. And my face felt like Vermont. I had to get a wheelbarrow to get my face out of it just, numb, fat. And he told me, he said, don't eat for 3 hours until after. Well, he told me not to eat before I got there, and I got there at 1, and I left at like 4, and I'm hungry. So I did what any Pentecostal did. I drove to Chick-fil-A. Closed on Sunday. You my Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A. Get a great big fat sandwich, extra pickles and tomatoes, just the way I like it. And I got this, I get it to go, so I'm having the sauce. You know what I'm saying, right? You're driving with your knee and you're putting the sauce on the thing, and you're gonna wear half the sauce on the way home. You just budget it in. You're just gonna budget it. So I'm closed on Sunday. You my Chick-fil-A. And so I'm thinking, oh, sure enough, I just lost a big globule of the Chick-fil-A sauce. I looked down on my shirt and it was red. It wasn't the Chick-fil-A sauce. I had literally gnawed through my entire lip. My face was so numb, I destroyed my mouth. And I'm like, I should have listened. Put the sandwich down, and here's what the Holy Spirit said. My church has become numb with my name. And what they're doing is they're chewing through their face and they don't even know it. And they're making a mess of their lives because they're just numb. It's time for us to become unnumb and know the name of God to whom we worship and bow our knee. So for the next little while, we're going to do this series entitled The Names of God. The Names of God. The Names of God. Now, there are 10 names that we're going to take on. I think I have a list of those 10 names, and so you can take out your phone and take a snapshot of them. Because I don't expect you to write it all down, because we're going to go quickly off here. We're going to do a couple at a time. And I want you to know there is just one God. So we're not starting some new theology. There's just one God. I just got back from Bonney Lake, and they said, are there lots of gods? No, sorry for the confusion. One God, lots of names. These names are the characteristics that describe the attributes that represent the persona that embodies the one true God. And when you're going through it up to here, the more specific you pray, the more relational you are, the greater chances of your heart, number one, having peace, and number two, God acting, because you're addressing and attacking the specificity of the name for where you find yourself. Are you with me? Are you with me? Now, there's no wrong way to pray. Please put that thought out of your head. If you don't hit the names right, oh well, God is bigger than that. But I want to educate you on the names of the God that you serve so that you may access him with intelligence. Where are all my ladies at all across our campuses? Give me a couple snaps. Give me 2 snaps, ladies. 2 snaps. Some of you can't snap your fingers yet. 2 snaps. Now, you girls, it's interesting when I watch you interact with each other. Because you can tell the girls that you've just met. Oh yeah, you're gonna go to coffee with them, but you're spending 35 minutes getting your fake eyelashes, your foundation, your eyeliner, your hair perfect, your little cute outfit with the little shoes that match, and you're shuffling out to Starbucks or Anthem Coffee. Because you just met them. But the girls that you know for a minute, the girls that you got history with, yeah, lipstick is not going on your mouth. You just don't care because they're your girls. Are you with me? Where are all my brothers at? My brothers, give me a hoorah. You know, you guys, same way. We guys, same way. There are guys that we're kind of buttoned up with that we don't know real well. But when someone becomes our dog, they become our B-O-Y-Z. They become boys. Do you know what you stop? You stop calling them by their birth name and you give them a nickname. Come on, you know what I'm talking about. Now, Pastor Sean McCartan, I call him Shawnee. I call him the White Hope. Because that brother can bawl like nobody I know. He can just bawl like white boys ought not be able to bawl. He go into Hyde Park and just play. Love this guy's skills in basketball. I call him a PTP or primetime player. Shawnee the Baller. That's my nickname, Shawnee the Baller. Mom, do you? My mom's watching. There was in our town, we had all of our sports were broadcast on the radio, and there's a guy that did color commentary. Mom, would you text me on the guy's name? I want to get it right. I think his name is George White. I think that was his name, George White. Mom, text me that name. But I used to love to listen to the recordings of him calling my games. Roger the Rocket. The Rocket. He quit calling me Roger. In my junior year, he just dropped the whole Roger thing. He just called me the Rocket. Because I was fast and I can jump and I bounce and bang, bang, dunk, catch, flip, touch the rocket. That's my nickname. You see, you know people by their attributes, and sometimes if there's an affinity with someone that you love, you give them an endearing name. I don't call Tina Tina. Hey, baby bear. Hey, boo. Hey, shawty. Let's go, girl. Ooh, you're so fine. Sha la 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 la. My brown-eyed girl. Because we have a level of intimacy. You need to be thinking about God that way when you engage him. Now, God has attributes. I've given you these lists of these names, and we're going to go through these because I want you to access God, get results for your own heart and for your circumstance. Are you with me? Are you with me? If you're with me, say, I'm with you, Pastor. Here's the first name. The first name. My mom just texted me. Was it George White? Here it comes. Here it comes. George White. Ah! I may have cancer, but I got a great memory. Here we go. The first name we're going to talk about tonight, found in the Bible, referenced more than 700 times, is Elohim. 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 You heard that sung over you tonight. Elohim, which is the equivalent to Creator. Creator. Now, why is that so important that we access God as Creator? Because Elohim ain't even interested in last year's exploits. Elohim don't care what he did a century, millennium ago. Elohim is all about, there's a universe, there's a solar system, there's Betelgeuse, there's Mercury, Venus, Jupiter, Mars, Uranus, Pluto. No, he's out. You see, the God Elohim that we know is all about the creation of the new. Say this out loud with me. Come on, across our campuses. Say, God is doing a new thing. No, not a new thing, a new thing. Say, God is doing a new thing. There you go. The literal translation is this: creativity, not something being done, but something someone is. Not something being done, something someone is. Have you ever met a person that's been generous but disingenuous? You know what I'm talking about? They do a generous act, and then they're going like, where's mine? Come on, I gave you a little something, something. Time for you to give me a little something, something. But have you ever met someone who's just so generous, they're not even thinking what they're doing is generous. They just do it because it's not what they're doing, it's who they are. You see, that's the Elohim of the Bible. Now, in Isaiah chapter 43, Isaiah 43, the 7th century BC, 700 years before Christ. The northern kingdom, the nation of Israel, is in a very difficult situation because the Assyrians are kidnapping their children, trafficking their women, killing their men, stealing their food, and they are just seriously bugging. They be bugging, yo. They be seriously bugging. Because they're going like, we are going to die if God does not do something. So Isaiah the prophet gets this word from God, and he begins to recite his resume. Come on, have you ever met someone who always talks about all the great things that they've done? Or better yet, all the great things their children are doing? Like, have you seen the bumper sticker? My child is the honor student at Spanaway High School. ASB President 4.0. My child cured diabetes. My child is the most good-looking prom king and has dated the prom queen since 3rd grade. And your child sucks and my child's great. Follow me to Motion Church. You know those people. Always reading their resume, always reminding you how great they are and their husband or spouse, boyfriend, girlfriend, children, bank account, their trips to the Bahamas. God, you're exhausting me with your wonderful exploits. Does anything bad ever happen in your world? Here's a picture of me last night. I got a DUI. I'm going to put it on Instagram to boast about my jail time. You don't do that, do you? No, because you're just always pumping your resume. Listen to God. God is about to encourage the northern kingdom. He's telling them what he has done in the past. But listen to the turn that he makes. This is what the Elohim says. Now, it's very interesting that the word Lord there in the Hebrew, because the Old Testament is 39 books written primarily in Hebrew and partially in Aramaic in the portions of Daniel and the book of Ezekiel, but everything else is Hebrew. This word Lord used here in this sentence is specifically, of all the words that could have been selected, I'm curious that the word is Elohim. Elohim. This is what Elohim says. He who made a way through the sea. He had delivered this enslaved people group called the Jews out of Egypt. They got backed up against this body of water. They were going to be fish food. The Egyptians were going to kill them. But God says, parts the sea. They go across on dry ground. Pretty phenomenal. See that on Facebook. I made a path through the mighty waters. Hey, who drew up the chariots and their horses of Egypt, the army and reinforcements all together with all those bad brothers that they bought and laid them there, never to rise again? Hey, who extinguished and snuffed them out like a wick? It was me. But look at verse 18. He goes all Italian on them. Forget about it. Forget about it. All that cool stuff. I'll make you an offer you can't refuse. Forget about it. All that stuff I did, just, hey, don't even remember it anymore. Why? I don't want you to dwell in the past. See, I am doing a thing. I am doing a new thing. Forget all of that. All those former things, don't dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing. Now it springs up. Do you not perceive it? I am making a way in the wilderness and streams in the wasteland. Tina and I went to Italy 7 years ago. And it was one of the most romantic trips ever. I mean, my wife's Italiano. And you know, I learned an Italian. I wanted to surprise her. I wanted to get into the gondola up there in Venice, where they have the gondolas. I paid the gondolier $100 to shut his mouth. I said, I don't want you to sing. I want to sing to my wife. I memorized an Italian opera. Now, I'm the kind of person that doesn't mind attention. I'm okay with that. My wife, on the other hand, would rather have nothing brought to her attention. I get in the gondola. I don't speak Italian. I stand up. Parli più piano e non se ne sentirà. Il nostro amore lo viviamo io e te. Nessuno sa la verità, neppure il cielo che ci guarda lassù. Insieme te resterò, amore mio, sempre così. I'm getting ready to go into the high part where I really bust it out. People are throwing flowers into the canal. The people are shouting, amore, amore. I'm so proud of myself. I look down at my little wife. She has her face in her hands, shaking her head side to side. We got in the hugest fight in Venice. But we had good memories too. No, we walked through this incredible, we went to Nable. Nable. You know what Nable is? Naples, for all you white people. Naples. We went to Nable. And there's a place there called Pizza Napoletana. It's the best pizza place in all of Italy. Pizza Napoletana. And you walked out in front of that restaurant and you went, and you just gained 11 pounds. The bread was so fresh and so intoxicating. We sat down and ate that pizza. I literally started speaking in tongues. I had a spiritual experience. I said, do you guys, where do you get this? Oh, hey, we make it fresh every day. It's a fresh bread every day. I said, can I just move in with you? When I walked in front of that fancy pizza place and smelled that fresh bread, it kind of reminded me of the South Hill campus here. Now, downtown campus in Bonney Lake, you're going to have to just trust me here. This is a former grocery store, and this was aisle 7. It's where the frozen food was. It was my turn to cook dinner, so I got on my little bicycle from Silver Creek, rode over here into aisle 7. I opened up the door, and I grabbed a frozen Tony's pizza. And I went, you see, the God that we serve, the God that is Elohim, the God that wants to do something new, wants to generate a freshness in you. He wants to do something fresh. Because do you know what can go stale in this lifetime? Hey, if you're married, give me a wave across our campuses. Let me just promise you, your marriage can grow stale. Your career can grow stale. Your dating life can grow stale. Those new purchases that you meet, I promise you, they're going to be a little bite for a while, but then those things are going to go stale. You can travel to tropical locations, and if you do it lots, it'll go stale. Your dating relationships will go stale. This word that I'm telling you is true. This world is made to go stale. The only thing that keeps your life fresh is Elohim, the creator of the universe, whose name is God, the Father in heaven. And he wants to do something new in you. Say this out loud with me. Say, God, I am open for the new thing. Elohim, the creator. Number 2, I want to talk to you about Jehovah. 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 Now, this name of God is pretty interesting because this name of God doesn't appear as Jehovah in the Old Testament at all. It appears as Yahweh. Now, in the Hebrew language, check this out. There are no vowels. There are no vowels in the Hebrew language. So in the 6th century AD, on the other side of the cross, Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord, in the 6th century AD, there's a group of people called the Masoretes. Masoretes. Now, the Masoretes are interpreting something called the Septuagint, which is the Greek translation of the Hebrew Bible. And they come across this word Yahweh, for which there is no translational equivalent. They don't know what to put in that spot because there's no vowels in there. And they come to this proper name with no vowels, but then they start digging in, doing research, the Masoretes do, and they come up with this equivalent, meaning the same, but blowing their own mind in their study, Jehovah, literally translated meaning my God, who is interpersonal with me. You see, this is life-altering. Because all of the other gods that were worshiped were never friends with their creation. They were dominators of their creation. And when they created, they did it with great struggle and great effort. When God created, he just goes, create, create. I think I'll make a race of people. Create. Effortlessness. There was no kindness and love of these other gods, but this God of the creator of the universe, this Jehovah interpersonal God, check this out. Now, in Exodus, who the author was Moses, this is what Moses writes about himself in the third person. Have you ever met somebody that talks about themselves in the third person? Roger likes ice cream. Roger loves Tina. Oh, Roger loves Motion Church. Roger is a very, very good-looking person. Roger is. Moses is now talking about himself in the third person. The Lord would speak to Moses face to face as one speaks to a friend. Can I just tell you this, my dear one? Mark it down and let it known to be true. The only thing that is truly ours, that does not grow stale, is God's love. The only thing. This love that he decided to give to us before we were even born, before we were ever good enough to earn it or bad enough to forfeit it, Jehovah is our God, and he doesn't want to live beside us. He wants to live inside us. He wants to be our friend. He wants to have relationship with us. What other God in the universe? Does Allah want that? Does Buddha want that? Does Confucius want that? Does Zen want that? Does Hare Krishna want that? Does any other God, lowercase g, demonic entity want that? No. But the one true God, Jehovah God, say this out loud. Say, Jehovah is my God. When I was 27 and Tina was 14, well, she looked like she was 14. She was actually 23. We had been renting where we lived for the first 5 years of our marriage. We couldn't afford a house. So we rented. But man, I was having this like gnawing feeling like I'm paying someone else's mortgage. And this isn't my house. I'm just using it for a while until I go to my next place and I have nothing to show for all this money I'm giving these people. And we would go to Jehovah, my God, and we say, Lord, give us a house of our very own. We had a desire and we were praying for 5 years. And you know what was crazy? One moment, when we were driving up in Shoreline on 155th and 6th Avenue in Seattle, we drove by this house and there was a for sale sign. And the Lord spoke to me. My God spoke to me and said, that's your house. Go get it. And I said, oh Lord, I don't know that we can afford it. It's so expensive. Where would we ever come up with $105,000? You can't build a bathroom for $105,000 now. But the Lord said, I am Jehovah, I am your God. And I am Elohim, the creative one. Just go with me on this one. So we wrote an offer on a poor preacher's salary. And we saw, at the end of 320 payments, but we saw the rent, the mortgage, how would we ever be able to afford $804 a month? Oh my. God said, trust me, go with this. I'm your God. And you know what we did? On that day when it closed, we stopped being renters and we started being owners. It wasn't someone else's house we were dwelling in. This was now our house we were dwelling in. And you know what was crazy about that little house? Is that 2 years later, we put it on the market for sale by owner, sold that house, and moved up to Egypt, Linwood. And we bought a brand new house for $141,000. Oh God, however shall we? We lived there for 2 years, for sale by owner, sold that house, bought our dream house in Seattle, right across the school where Bill Gates went to high school on First Avenue, right up by Northgate Mall. And we bought this incredible house for $311,000. We lived there for a couple years, and then God said, load it all up and move to this town called Puyallup. Not even God can pronounce it. Do you know that we used the profits from all of those houses to start Motion Church 24 years ago? And now, we have buildings that total $62 million across 3 campuses, and we're building a brand new one because we're going to take the gates of hell right off of Bonney Lake, and we're going to send a flood of revival, and it's coming to South Hill. It's going downtown. We're getting the high ground up in Bonney Lake. We're going to kick the devil right in the face, and he's going to get tumbling down off that hill, and the glory is going to roll down into all of our campuses, and we're going to see the glory of God because of my God that gave us my house. And God is able to do that for you too. The third name of God I'd have you know is the God El Shaddai. The name El Shaddai. Now, some of you that are over 40 years old are thinking about Amy Grant. El Shaddai, El Shaddai, El Elyon Adonai, age to age is still the same. I had the biggest crush on Amy Grant. When I was in college, I was in Bible college at the time, and I'd be down at the altar just weeping. God, give me Amy. God, just give me Amy. Jesus, just give me Amy. And the Lord answered my prayer. He said, no. He goes, I got a Tina for you. Much better than an Amy. El Shaddai means God Almighty. God Almighty. Now I'm going to throw some omnis at you. I'm going to throw some good theology at you. This won't be on the screen. Maybe we can get it on the screen for tomorrow. Maybe Adrian, you can help me with that. I want to throw some omnis at you because it's really important when you're talking about El Shaddai that you understand the embodiment of what that means. The first omni is omniscient. Omniscient. He's all-knowing. He knows everything. All the consequences of his yes prayers that he answers, he knows how they all fan out. He knows all the things that you've done, are doing, and will do. God is omniscient. He's all-knowing. He's not geeking about Taiwan, and he's not geeking about Russia. He's not geeking about nuclear armament. He's not worried. You know why? Because he already knows it all, and he's got a plan for it all because he is omniscient, El Shaddai. The second omni I want to give to you is omnipresent. Do you know God is everywhere at once? You may think God doesn't know where you live. God is at your house right now. He's waiting for the pot roast to come out of the oven. He's going to hook you up. Do you know not only is God everywhere at the same time, God is everywhere in time at the same time. Because God does not see time linearly. God sees time all at once. Because before time was, he was. And after time ends, he will be. And he sees time all at the same time. Come on, can you imagine having access to that kind of power, the God that is omnipresent. Hey, you know what? The devil's not omnipresent. The devil doesn't live in this Washington. But he does have demons, and they got residents. But they're not omnipresent. The third one is that he's omnipotent, meaning all-powerful. All-powerful. There's no limitation to what he can do. He doesn't have to budget. God doesn't have to budget. He has everything. He says the earth is the Lord's and all it contains and all who dwell within it. My mom is my hero. My mother's my hero. I remember after my dad's departure, there were never any extras, but my mom made sure we had shoes on our feet, we had a roof over our head, and we had food on our table. My mom walking to her 3 jobs without a car, hustling work so that her kids could have the essentials. Never extras, always enough. My mom would utilize the government. Yeah, we were those kids that went to the grocery store with food stamps and blocks of government cheese came. Oh God, I couldn't eat cheese for 2 decades, Mom. Government cheese. But my favorite thing that my mom did in her frugality, now those of you under 40 will not realize this. Those of you over 40 will. When I say S&H green stamps. You see, when you'd go to the grocery store, the little clerk person over there would roll their finger and out would pop these stamps. Now, these stamps were full of toxic glue that you would lick and put onto a book. Now, my mom would collect everybody's, because all the rich people didn't want them. My mom would go to register and get all the books, and then she would say, "Here, lick this." It explains a lot. But then my mom, she would have books of these S&H green stamp books, and we would go to the commodity store where they had other governmental stuff, but then we would redeem toys, the extras. And I'm just here to tell you, my mind was blown by, because I thought that's the way the world worked for everybody. Until I met my first rich friend. Their families had discretionary income. They didn't have budgets. They wanted something, they just went and bought it. They had all kinds of resources. They'd travel, they would buy gear, they'd buy things. And I couldn't even fathom that. I thought one day I want to have that kind of wealth. I want to have so much money that I don't have to budget and I don't have to care. I just want to have it. Because I thought somehow, some way that would really do it for me. I remember the first funeral I did for the first millionaire that took their life that I had ever met. I remember the first wedding I did for a millionaire couple and the post-counseling after their divorce ended. I remember the first multi-millionaire that I ever met whose kids were just wayward and breaking their heart. No amount of money will make my cancer go away. No amount of money can make someone truly love you. No amount of money can make you truly happy. No amount of money can ever create world peace. We as humans are tragically limited and finite. However, El Shaddai is limited and infinite. El Shaddai, the all-powerful one, the all-knowing one, the omnipresent one. He is the one with the power in his hand to change the reality of your very life. His name is El Shaddai. You see, some of you right now are in great need. And when you have this knowledge of this intimate friendship, your nickname for Daddy God might just be El Shaddai. It might just be, "Hey, Daddy, I need a little something, something, because it's really rough in this area." El Shaddai, all-powerful, all-knowing, all-present. You might feel lonely, but you are never alone. Because El Shaddai is with you. Your life may feel stale, but your God, Jehovah Elohim is creating new things. Your life may feel like you don't have an ally, but you don't need the President of the United States. You don't need an actor or a famous athlete. You have Elohim, the Creator, who's making everything fresh and new for you. I want to invite you, if you would, to bow your head and close your eyes before Jesus. I'm just a walking billboard of the names of God. The names of God that are so dialed and so known. The names of God that have been called out, that have produced life in my children, my grandchildren, that have produced wealth and generosity. My ability to be generous is beyond my wildest scope of imagination of the days of my childhood. But you see, all of this is pointless unless the God of the universe has His Son, Jesus Christ, residing inside of you. Jesus is reaching out with arms of love and grace and mercy. He wants so desperately to be your friend. The question is, what will you now do with what you now know? In a moment, you're going to hear the word now across all of our campuses and those watching online. And if you want the Son of the living God, who defeated the grave, ascended into heaven, and is imminently coming again to live inside of you, your exercise is going to be your hand up high, notifying hell that you will no longer be his marionette, and notifying heaven that you are now a blood-bought agent of the Most High God. I hope you're ready to have the best days of your life. It begins when this word comes and your hand goes up. Here comes this word. Get ready. It's coming in 3, in 2, in 1. Right now, put your hand high into the air and say, "Here I am, Pastor. Please pray for me." Come on. Anybody else? Anybody want Jesus to come into your heart? Powerful God, powerful God. I want to invite all of us, if we could, across our campuses to stand to our feet. Some of you are in desperate need of the names of God that I just mentioned. And the way to get the alliance of that God is to surrender yourself in a posture of worship and begin to call out to Him in worship. And when you call out to Him in worship, He comes running with reckless abandonment and He scoops you up. Come on, let's lift up this song to Him right now.